Hi, I'm Jen from Tea Leaves and Tweed, and welcome to another Matcha Basics video. This week, I'm taking a look at two different ways of frothing your matcha shot, because I showed how I whisk matcha with a traditional whisk last time, but not everybody can use a whisk. So I want to see if using a whisk is really superior to using a handheld electric frother. So let's take a look. So here I'm starting with a little water in each of my matcha bowls to warm them up. I do need to kind of moisten the whisk a little bit. And then I can discard the water and wipe each bowl out. Of course, the electric frother doesn't need to be moistened, so I'm just going to wipe that water out. So now I'm going to take each bowl and put 2 scoops of sifted matcha in each bowl. And I suppose if I wanted to be really precise, I would weigh this matcha. But from experiments in the past with weighing my matcha, I'm actually pretty consistent eyeballing it with the scoop. So now I've got sifted matcha in each bowl. And close our matcha up to keep it fresh. This is my Naoki Matcha Kirin Harvest, which is one of my favorite matchas. It tends to make pretty good foam. So let's see how these go. So each bowl is going to get 600 milliliters of 80 Celsius water from my kettle. We'll start with the whisked bowl. We'll put the water in. We'll whisk it. And I want to make sure I give this at least 10 or 15 seconds of whisking, so I'm not shortchanging it. So, pretty good foam from our whisk. Now, we can do our electric frother. This is an electric frother that I got as a gift from my mother, and it just has one button that you push up top. And it does make a bit more of a mess. So here are our 2 bowls of matcha. So here we have our 2 bowls of matcha. This is the traditionally whisked and this is the electric frother. And you can see that the traditionally whisked one does have a thicker foam, and the electric frother has a bit more kind of breakup of the foam. But they both froth up pretty nicely. I'm gonna give this a little hit more. See, the nice thing about the electric frother is you can kind of hit it with the frother again, and it actually thickens the foam up quite nicely. So I'm actually pretty pleased with how both of these turned out. So now, of course, we have to taste them. So I think I'll taste actually the traditionally whisked one first. That has the creamy vegetal umami flavor to it. The foam is a kind of dense, creamy texture that really melds well with that creamy flavor of the matcha. Oh, that's really interesting. It actually tastes different, but this one brings up more of kind of a brightness, almost a floral quality. It's a little bit cleaner and less mouth coating, possibly because the foam is a little bit thinner. It's still very enjoyable though. This would still be a perfectly adequate way of enjoying this matcha. As I drink, I'm not coming across any clumps. I didn't do any kind of pre-mixing to make a paste with either of these. I just poured the matcha in, poured the water in, and went to town with my preferred frothing method. Neither of them have any grittiness or any lumpiness. The foam is definitely lasting a bit longer in the traditionally whisked one. So now, looking in each bowl, I see a limited amount of like powder residue, and there's no like sludginess or lumpiness. So neither of these have clumps or lumps in them. So I would say that using a handheld frother definitely produces a different bowl of matcha, but it's not necessarily an inferior bowl of matcha. I know that a lot of traditionalists really place a lot of stock in the quality of your foam, and the foam is wonderful, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the matcha is going to be bad. So I would say that a good quality electric frother with a wonderful quality matcha is going to be just as enjoyable, if not exactly the same, as a bowl of traditionally whisked matcha. So I hope you enjoyed this Matcha Basics video. I hope it gives you a little something to think about how you whisk your matcha or how you froth your matcha. And I hope you'll join me again in the future, because I definitely have more of these Matcha Basics videos planned. So definitely hit subscribe and make sure you catch my next video. Thanks. Bye.